Hello everyone, a very good evening and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep. Welcome to Target Prelims 2023. So welcome to session number 2 on government schemes. Yesterday in the first session, we had covered around 15 important government schemes which were in news in the last 1 year. Today we shall cover 15 more government schemes in complete detail through 13 questions. Also don't forget, under Target Prelims 2023, we have few more sessions lined up for you. We have special sessions on places that were in news with regard to art and culture because UPSC tends to ask these history-based questions depending on the places that were in news. We also have a special session on reports and indices coming up and will end with a places in news session which focuses on both national and international places and locations that were in news over the last 1 year. So this entire crash course has been designed to help you crack the upcoming prelims. I really hope all of you are making the full benefit or taking the full benefit out of this. And if you feel these sessions have been helpful, do let us know in your comments. Like these videos, don't forget to share them with the other aspirants and also subscribe to our channel. So without wasting any time, let's get started with the first question for today. Consider the following statements. The Ministry of Ayush is running a central sector scheme called Ayur Swastya Yojana. It has two components, Ayush and Public Health and Center of Excellence. Under the Center of Excellence component, AIIMS New Delhi has been set up as the lead research center for alternative medicine. So this topic deals with alternative medicine. That is the Ayush stream of medicine. Ayush stands for Ayurveda, Yoga, Unani, Siddha and Homeopathy. These alternative systems of medicine have been quite popular in India and we even have a dedicated ministry to promote Ayush. So the Ayush ministry has launched a very important scheme called Ayur Swastya Yojana. So let's talk about the scheme first. Let's look at the key features of this scheme and then it becomes easier to answer this question. And also if you remember yesterday's session, at the very start I had explained what is a central sector scheme, how is it different from centrally sponsored schemes. I'm sure you remember that discussion. So now let's talk about Ayur Swastya Yojana. What are the key features of this scheme? This is indeed a central sector scheme, which means it is entirely funded by the Government of India, by the Ministry of Ayush. It is implemented by the Government of India as well. So under Ayur Swastya Yojana, there are two components. One is Ayush and Public Health Institutions, and the other component is Center of Excellence. This important initiative was launched in the year 2021-22. So under the Ayush and Public Health component, the adoption of Ayush forms of medicine is being promoted by the government. The public health institutions, both private sector and public sector, are being encouraged. They are being incentivized to create the right infrastructure to offer Ayush healthcare services to the public. Along with allopathic medicine, India has been promoting these alternative systems of medicine as well due to their popularity and reported efficacy as well. Of course, they have their own pros and cons, will not get into that. But however, it's important to understand that Ayush system of medicine does play an important role in preventive healthcare and as well as in treatment. The other component of Ayush, that is Ayur Swastya Yojana, is the Center of Excellence. Under this scheme, research and development is being promoted. Research and development is being promoted through the establishment of Center of Excellence. Both private and public healthcare institutions are being encouraged to take the initiative and the government will support them to further carry out research in the Ayush stream of medicines. Is that clear? So both private hospitals, public hospitals, healthcare research institutions, they're all being incentivized under this scheme to focus on research and development. The required financial assistance is being offered as an incentive to the healthcare sector. So this does not undermine allopathic stream of medicine. Rather, Ayush will complement the allopathic stream of medicine that is the key pillar of healthcare in our country. So, be it Ayurveda, be it Unani, homeopathy, yoga, they have their own set of benefits as we were discussing. Yes, their scientific accuracies are questioned, but still, in preventive healthcare, in treatment as well, they do play an important role, and there is a huge market in India and in other countries as well. So that is the reason why this important scheme was launched by the Ministry of Ayush. These healthcare institutions, be it private hospitals, public hospitals or research institutions, they get a financial support of up to 10 crore rupees to set up Center of Excellence, to focus on research and development. Got it? So based on this, let's see whether these given statements were correct or incorrect. The first statement is obviously correct. It is a central sector scheme being implemented by the Ministry of Ayush. Second statement is also correct. It has two components, Ayush and Public Health Institutions and Center of Excellence. But however, the third statement is incorrect. It is wrong. Because AIIMS New Delhi is not being set up as the lead research center under the Center of Excellence component. All private public healthcare institutions are being encouraged to take the initiative to set up R&D facilities, to focus on research through financial assistance. It's not just AIIMS New Delhi. So that makes it incorrect. Here it's a blanket statement. It's saying that it's only AIIMS New Delhi which is being set up as the lead research center. That's not the case. So third statement is incorrect. So the right answer would be option B, 1 and 2 only. Let's see how many of you got it right. 55% have got the right answer. Very good. Now moving on to the second question. A very important question from the field of education. Consider the following statements. Eklavya Model Residential School is being implemented as a central sector scheme to provide quality education to the children of martyred soldiers. They are set up in states and union territories with grants or grant in aid that is provided under Article 275 Clause 1 of the Indian Constitution. The scheme is being implemented by the Ministry of Defence. We need to check which of these statements are incorrect. Always pay attention to the question. I've been insisting this from the last 4 sessions. Read the question very carefully. Even if you spend a couple of extra seconds, it's okay, it's worth it. Because sometimes if you read the question incorrectly and mark the wrong answer, you're going to regret it. Is that clear? So always read the question very carefully. There will be these questions where you're asked to identify the wrong statements. Always be very careful in this regard. So let's talk about Eklavya Model Residential Schools. This topic was in news over the last 1 year. The government of India submitted a report related to these schools to the parliament. Based on a question that was asked by an MP, the government gave very valuable data regarding the implementation of this scheme. So that's what makes it very important. And also from the point of view of social justice and education, this scheme is very, very important. So let's understand everything about the scheme and as well as about Article 275. The Eklavya Model Schools, they were launched in the year 1997-1998. It was started by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. It's a scheme which is being funded and implemented by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. It is indeed a central sector scheme with 100% funding coming from the central government in the form of grants in aid, which is provided under Article 275, Clause 1 of the Indian Constitution. If you look at Article 275 and Clause 1, it provides for grants in aid from the union government to states and union territories. This funding is drawn from the Consolidated Fund of India for implementing certain programs by state governments and union territories for which the parliament has provided by law. Funding can be provided by the union government in the form of grants in aid through this constitutional provision. The funds will be drawn directly from the Consolidated Fund of India to fund these important schemes. Got it? So this model school which is a residential school for tribal students in the tribal areas. It's being funded through the central government. It's a central sector scheme funded under Article 275 Clause 1. The focus here is to provide quality education to ST children in the remote areas, in the tribal belt of India, be it in the central and eastern parts of India, northeastern part of India, and the other regions where tribal communities can be found. So these tribal districts and villages are the focus of the program, and the priority is to provide quality education to ST children, to scheduled tribe children. Because scheduled tribes, they have not only faced historical social oppression and discrimination, but they have been largely left behind when it comes to development and progress. Providing quality education is the key to uplift the community and to enable the ST children to become ready for future employment. So here the focus is not just on basic education, but also on ensuring higher education along with the right skills, the right training. That is why it focuses on quality education. So this residential school program was launched by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, and the focus is on those regions which have 50% ST population or at least 20,000 tribal population in that given block. So these areas will be provided with the Eklavya model residential school, and the focus is on setting them up in all the concerned states and union territories. This scheme in fact has seen a lot of success. According to data provided by the Tribal Affairs Ministry, essential facilities have been provided. Quality facilities have been created in these model schools, because providing the right infrastructure is very, very important to strengthen education at the grassroots. From sport facilities to good libraries, smart classrooms, focus on extracurricular activities, hostel facilities because it's a residential school, along with essential medical facilities, labs, etc. All the required resources and infrastructure is being created under this scheme. The Tribal Affairs Ministry has approved around 690 such model schools, and 401 are already functioning in the country. 50 of them are yet to be approved. So we are looking at around 650 Eklavya model residential schools in total, which will transform education, the quality of education in the tribal belts of India. Thousands of students are enrolled in these model schools, and they are being imparted with quality education. As I told you, the focus is not just on basic elementary education. The focus is on building the right base, the foundation for the tribal community, so that the tribal youth in the future become ready for taking up employment and secure their livelihood, thereby uplift the community itself. So this is what makes the scheme very, very important, and these are some basic facts that you need to know about the Eklavya model residential school. Now let's go back to the question. You can easily give the right answer. The first statement is absolutely wrong. It does not focus on children of martyred soldiers. There is a separate scheme for that, which provides for financial assistance for children and their education for those who belong to martyred families. So this is absolutely incorrect. The third statement is also incorrect. It's not implemented by the Defense Ministry. It's by the Tribal Affairs Ministry. But the second statement is correct. It is set up in states and union territories through funds, that is grants in aid, that is provided under Article 275 Clause 1 of the Indian Constitution. So which are the incorrect statements? 1 and 3 only. Option C becomes the correct answer. Let's see how many of you got it right. 44% have said option C. 32% have said option D. So that shows an element of confusion, but still very good. I'm happy at least 44% of them have got it right. So let's move to the third question. I've chosen a different format for this question. Even such questions can come in UPSC Prelims, where UPSC will give you a description in a paragraph. Based on that, you have to check which option matches the given description. The question says, it is an inherited group of blood disorders that is genetic in nature. It's referring to a genetic blood disorder. It causes a debilitating systemic syndrome characterized by chronic anemia, acute painful episodes, organ infarction, chronic organ damage, and by a significant reduction in life expectancy. It's talking about a fatal blood disorder, a very serious condition, which is a genetic condition. To combat this disorder, the Union government has launched a mission in 2023 Union budget to eliminate it by 2047. Which disorder does the above description refer to? Now I think you can understand the context in which the question has been picked. There is a particular blood-related genetic disorder, which is a major healthcare challenge. And to tackle this, to eliminate this altogether, the government of India has launched an important mission in this year's union budget. So that is why the topic was in news. So which disorder is the scheme focusing upon? Is it acute myeloid leukemia, non-Hodgkin lymphoma, which is a type of blood-related cancer, sickle cell anemia from the family of sickle cell disorders, or thalassemia? Go ahead and give the right answer because it's a straightforward question. We'll discuss the topic, of course, but let's end the poll and let's see how many of you get it right. Majority of them have said option C. Very good. 88% have given the right answer. That's very good because it again shows that you're in touch with current affairs. It's a recent topic. It's been repeatedly covered in newspapers as well. So let's talk about this particular disorder and let's also talk about this mission that the government of India has launched. The question was indeed referring to sickle cell anemia. This is something you would have studied from your school days as well in your biology. See, the RBCs that we have, the red blood cells, they transport oxygen to various parts of the body. But those who suffer from this unique blood-related genetic disorder, the shape of the RBC itself undergoes a change. Usually RBCs are spherical in shape, but it acquires a sickle shape, this crescent shape. This is called the sickle shape. It's a tool which farmers use, right? It has that sickle shape, the crescent shape. So RBC acquires this abnormal shape because of this genetic condition. This drastically reduces the oxygen carrying capacity of your RBCs and leads to very serious conditions. It could even become fatal. It essentially obstructs the flow of blood, the transport of oxygen, and leads to not just anemia, but it could lead to many more dangerous conditions which could even become fatal eventually. This genetic disorder, it is hereditary in nature. It is inherited by children from their parents. Parents are the carriers of this genetic disorder, and it is often a result of inbreeding in certain communities. Technically, it is known as consanguineous marriage, essentially where cousins are married. You would have heard about this in several communities, in several parts of India, even in several parts of the world. There is this practice where communities, they inbreed, they marry within the family, where cousins who actually share a cousin relationship are married off. So when they have an offspring, chances are very high that a lot of disorders, genetic disorders might come up, and one of them is a blood-related disorder, which is the sickle cell disease. Sickle cell disease is a group of blood-related disorders which causes sickle cell anemia. India has several cases, lakhs of cases are reported because there are several communities where inbreeding is a cultural social practice. Now this is something that can be prevented with better screening of couples and as well as the children, and through better awareness you can avoid such marriages. This is the focus of the government of India as well. The government of India wants to eliminate this disease. Health experts say that at least partially it is possible to eliminate the disease, if not entirely. Of course, not all the factors will be under our control, but at least such marriages within the community, within families, can be prevented through better awareness, through better practices in the society. Couples can go for screening. You can get yourself tested to see whether you're carrying the disorder, whether you're likely to pass this on to your offspring. At the infant stage itself, tests can be conducted to figure out whether the kid will develop sickle cell disorder. So accordingly, treatment can also be started in order to save the life of the kid as well. This is a life-threatening condition. In several cases, the kids will pass away before they even cross the age of 2 or 5 years. It is such a serious condition. So with better awareness and with better screening, it is possible to at least bring down these cases. If not entirely eliminated, health experts say that it is possible to at least partially prevent these disorders. So that is why the government of India has launched a dedicated mission to eliminate sickle cell anemia by the year 2047. Around 157 nursing colleges are being set up in the country to widen the healthcare network, and the focus here is on promoting awareness in the age group of 0 to 40 years. Around 7 crore people, especially in the tribal belt where inbreeding is quite common, they will be the focus of this awareness campaign. It's quite common in tribal communities which are very concerned about protecting their culture, their identity, right? They often practice inbreeding. It's often discouraged because of these genetic disorders that will come up. But it's quite common in several communities. So these specific communities will be targeted through the mission, and better awareness will be given to them. To avoid such consanguineous marriages, that is, marriages within the family, and promote better screening of couples so that they can either avoid having kids or at least the right treatment can be provided at the right time to save lives. This is the whole focus. There is treatment available here. Bone marrow transplantation from immediate family members. Stem cell therapy. It actually helps in overcoming the disorder. It helps in at least managing the disorder. All right, but it's very expensive. Not everyone can afford bone marrow transplantation or stem cell therapy. But of course, treatment is available to manage the condition, but it does become fatal very quickly. It leads to anemia, it leads to several cardiovascular conditions, and eventually can lead to heart attack and could be very fatal as well. So that is the reason why this mission has been launched in the 2023 Union Budget. So the right answer, as we discussed, is option C. So I hope everyone is clear about this topic. Now let's move on to the fourth question. Another question from the healthcare sector itself. We'll be looking at another scheme related to healthcare. This time we'll focus on mental health care. There's one big initiative which has been launched by the government of India. It's called Tele-MANAS initiative. It was recently in news. The government has very actively promoted this initiative because right now there is a lot of focus on acknowledging and treating mental health care conditions. The taboo associated with mental disorders is being tackled by the government and by the healthcare sector. So there is greater focus on addressing mental health care issues as well. We have dedicated schemes and programs for that. So under that, a new initiative has been launched called Tele-MANAS initiative. So we need to check which of the given statements are correct with regard to Tele-MANAS initiative. It is a 24/7 tele-counseling mental health facility established by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. It is based on e-MANAS tele-counseling program that was launched by the government of Kerala during the first wave of COVID-19 pandemic. It seeks to provide universal access to equitable, affordable, quality mental health care through tele-services, that is through remote counseling, under the National Tele-Mental Health Program. This program itself is very important for the exam. So we need to check how many of the statements are correct. All right? As I told you in previous sessions, this format of question also is being asked by UPSC, where you have to identify how many of the statements are correct or incorrect. So let's talk about Tele-MANAS. Tele-MANAS stands for Tele-Mental Health Assistance and Networking Across States Initiative. It's a key healthcare initiative which is implemented by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, by the central ministry. This scheme was launched in Karnataka last year. The government of India, along with government of Karnataka, launched this ambitious initiative, and it is based on the e-Manas platform that the government of Karnataka had created during the first wave of the pandemic. As you know, the pandemic led to a sudden increase, an exponential increase in mental health disorders. The stress levels went up, anxiety, depression, and other mental health conditions were widely reported during the pandemic, especially in the beginning stages. A lot of people found it difficult to deal with the lockdown restrictions and isolation and quarantine, and as a result, mental health issues were shooting up. So at this point, the government of Karnataka launched a very important initiative along with NIMHANS. NIMHANS is a healthcare institution headquartered in Bengaluru. It's a leading national center in the field of mental healthcare sciences. It's both a hospital and a research center like AIIMS. It's one of India's elite institutions, the National Institute of Mental Health and Neuropathic Sciences. So through NIMHANS, the government of Karnataka launched this mental health care facility called e-Manas, which was a tele-counseling program. That is, remotely counseling facilities were provided through NIMHANS by the government of Karnataka. This initiative reached out to several patients suffering from mental disorders, and it gained a lot of popularity in the country. It was widely appreciated even by global organizations like the WHO. So by drawing lessons from this initiative, the government of India also has replicated the same model, and it's called the Tele-MANAS initiative. Is that clear? Through Tele-MANAS initiative around the country, across states and union territories, these remote counseling centers are being set up under the leadership of NIMHANS. NIMHANS is the nodal agency to set up these counseling centers, and the technical support will be provided by IIIT Bangalore. The IT infrastructure which is needed to set up the remote counseling facilities, the calling and conferencing facilities which are needed, will be set up by IIIT Bangalore, the International Institute of Information Technology Bangalore. All right? So these institutions will work with the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and they have offered 24/7 mental health counseling facilities. The government is hoping to set up these facilities in every state and union territory, and focus is on underserved areas, especially some of the remote regions, the backward states where mental health is still seen as a taboo, right? Those areas will be the focus under Tele-MANAS initiative. The government of India has given it a lot of priority. In fact, Prime Minister Modi himself has been vocal about the initiative, and you should know that it is a 24/7 mental health facility that is available. 24/7, it's like a call center where the patients can call. They will be connected with mental health care professionals, with psychologists, psychiatrists, counselors, right? And they'll be provided with the right counseling to help address the critical mental health care issues. So dealing with these challenges is a priority under the national health policy as well. The national health policy prioritizes mental health issues. Even under Ayushman Bharat, the flagship healthcare initiative of the government of India, there is special focus on mental disorders. So basic support, counseling which is needed will be provided to the patients. It's entirely a remote facility so that it will be accessible, it will be cheap, it will not be very expensive at all, it will be a free facility. It will bring down the cost as well. Plus it will lift the stigma surrounding mental disorders. So all the patients have to do is to call the helpline, which is a 24/7 helpline, and through a IVRS system, they will be connected with professionals, with psychologists, counselors, etc. And there will be synergy with other related schemes and programs, like the e-Sanjeevani app. The e-Sanjeevani app is an effort of the government of India to digitize healthcare in the country. It's a mobile application that the government of India has brought out, the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has brought out, to ensure universal health coverage. Through e-Sanjeevani, it is right now very easy to find doctors and the right specialists and healthcare centers just through your mobile phones. It's one of the key initiatives under the flagship Ayushman Bharat initiative. One of the component is Health and Wellness Center. So under this, the ambitious eSanjeevani mobile app has been launched. So this tele-counseling facility will be integrated with the eSanjeevani app. So it becomes easier to keep track of the appointments, the counseling that has been provided, the treatment which has been recommended. All the data will be logged in. So it helps in digitizing healthcare and ensuring universal access. So this mental health care program is part of the National Tele-Mental Health Program. This topic in itself is very important because it was launched recently in the last year budget. The government of India acknowledged the mental health crisis triggered by the pandemic. And in general, there has been a greater acknowledgement of mental health related issues. As I told you, it has been prioritized under national health policy and as well as under Ayushman Bharat. So in last year's budget, the government of India announced the National Tele-Mental Health Program. And based on this commitment, by drawing the model from Karnataka, the Tele-MANAS model, this has been right now scaled up to the national level. It will be harmonized with other healthcare programs like Ayushman Bharat and eSanjeevani, and it will provide for timely mental health care for the Indian citizens. So that is why it's a very, very important initiative that was in news. So statement 1 is definitely correct. Statement 2, however, is wrong. It's incorrect. E-MANAS was not an initiative of the Kerala government. It was an initiative of the government of Karnataka. So that is why second statement is wrong. Third statement is definitely correct. It is under National Tele-Mental Health Program and it seeks to provide affordable and equitable access to patients suffering from mental disorders. So two statements are correct. Option B becomes the correct answer. Let's see how many of you got it right. There is again a tight competition between option B and C. 42% have said C is correct. 49% have said B is correct. So this again shows that you need that extra element of clarity to answer such questions. See, this topic, that is government schemes, in itself is very factual. That's why I'm not planning to cover 50, 100 government schemes. There's no point in doing that. Right? It's impossible to mug up and remember all those facts. That's why I've shortlisted 30 most important programs. Right? Along with that, we are covering some subtopics as well. Trust me, this is more than enough. Now go back and revise this again and again. You still have time. If you're getting the answers wrong, don't worry. Trust me, you have that knowledge. All you need is that element of clarity. Right? Because sometimes the options can be quite confusing. When so many details are given, factual details, it does become difficult. But with revision, trust me, it becomes easier. You will be able to mark the right answer. Alright? So revision is the key for this exam, especially in the last stage of your preparation. Next question, question number 5. Consider the following. Pradhan Mantri TB Mukt Bharat Abhiyan has been launched with the goal of eliminating the disease by 2045. An online portal called the Nikshay portal has been set up to track the notified TB cases. Nikshay Mitra augments community involvement and leverages CSR activities, corporate social responsibility activities, for providing additional support to TB patients. So the question is focusing on tuberculosis and the government schemes that focus on tackling this deadly infectious disease. So let's talk about the topic. Let's understand the various schemes that are in place, the initiatives the government has taken, and then evaluate which of these given statements are incorrect. I hope you know that tuberculosis is a deadly infectious disease. Can you let me know in the comments, is it caused by a bacteria or a virus? Is it a bacterial infection or is it a viral infection? Let's see how many of you get this right. Go ahead, reply in the comments. Tuberculosis is bacterial or viral? Very good. Majority of them are giving the right answer. It is indeed a bacterial infection. Now find out which is the pathogen causing the infection, which is the bacteria. and post that in the comments after the session ends. Because many students are saying viral infection as well. It will help the other students. Alright, so just take this as a small exercise. Find out which is the bacteria causing tuberculosis. Mention that in the comments below. Now when it comes to tuberculosis, which is an infectious disease, it's contagious. It is one of the most deadly diseases in the world because the mortality rate is quite high. The number of people suffering from the disease is also quite high. And India, but in particular, is suffering from tuberculosis. We bear the highest burden in the world. India has millions of cases, lakhs of deaths are reported every year. So it is a serious public healthcare challenge. So the government of India has set an ambitious goal for itself to achieve the elimination of tuberculosis. This goal of India is much more ambitious than the goal that the UN has set for the world. Through Sustainable Development Goals, the United Nations is looking to eliminate certain infectious diseases by the end of this decade. That is by 2030. The UN is implementing Agenda 2030, which is nothing but your Sustainable Development Goals. There are 17 goals with a number of targets under each goal. And under SDG number 3, that is the third goal of sustainable development. And under that you have the third target. So basically 3.3. It deals with elimination of such epidemics, infectious diseases such as AIDS, tuberculosis, malaria, and other neglected tropical diseases including hepatitis and waterborne communicable diseases. The UN has set this ambitious goal for the entire world. So the goal is to eliminate such diseases, the incidence of these diseases, by 2030. Now what India has done is that we have accelerated our program. Since many years we have important policies in place to tackle tuberculosis. But right now India is scaling up the effort and we have advanced the target. From 2030, which is the SDG target, we have set a target, a very ambitious target of 2025. We have advanced the target by 5 years. We plan to achieve the elimination of tuberculosis, at least reduce the incidence of the disease as per the UN goal. And we want to achieve this target 5 years before the SDG goal. So that is the reason why Pradhan Mantri TB Mukt Bharat Abhiyan has been launched. This was announced recently by the Government of India. It's of course under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and it has certain unique features through which India plans to eliminate the deadly disease. Here the Government of India wants to rope in the community as well. We want the community to play a bigger role and we want to provide more support to the patients. See, the biggest problem with regard to tuberculosis is that diagnosis is the bigger problem. Even though tests are available, a number of people who report symptoms, they don't get tested. So a lot of cases they go unreported and they keep transmitting the disease. Fortunately, the only good point here is that TB is not highly contagious. It doesn't spread like COVID-19 or other epidemics. It spreads only with very close contact. Only if you are in extreme close contact with the infected person, only then you will catch the infection. But diagnosis has become a challenge. Because see, the symptoms include severe cough and other flu-like symptoms. So many people ignore it and diagnosis becomes a challenge. The other problem here is that the current diagnosis methods available, they are slightly expensive, time-consuming as well. So the focus is on coming out with better diagnostic approaches. Now see, for the pandemic, for the COVID-19 pandemic, we came out with innovative methods to diagnose COVID-19. Very simple methods where people can test themselves, where results can come out quickly, right? So such new diagnostic methods are needed, and that is one focus of India under our program to eliminate tuberculosis. Of course, treatment is available. If you get treated at the right time, it is a treatable disease. The symptoms can be treated and your body can fight back the infection. But the patients who are suffering they actually suffer for a very long period. The infection might last few weeks. Sometimes in worst case scenarios, it can last few months. There are cases where people have suffered for 6, 8 months, even 10 months. So when a person is suffering from such a condition, obviously their health care, their nutrition, their livelihood, everything goes for a toss. Such patients, they need additional support. They not just need support in the form of right diagnosis and right treatment. They need other kinds of support. They will need the right nutrition. They will need access to essential drugs, insurance, and a way to support their livelihood. People may not be able to work for weeks together, months together, right? So these are the related, associated concerns with tuberculosis. So that is why the government effort alone is not enough. Government alone cannot combat such diseases. So to bring the community on board, this ambitious program has been launched. It's a abhiyan, right? It brings the corporate sector, cooperative societies, your elected representatives, even individuals and other private institutions and non-government institutions, including NGOs, political parties and any other partner institutions. They will be recognized as Nikshay Mitra. These Nikshay Mitras, they will bring community involvement. They will spread more awareness. They will give additional support to the patients. This will be like a social service. Private companies are encouraged to do this as part of their CSR responsibility. Every company is mandated to take up CSR activities, corporate social responsibility activities. So these companies, institutions or individuals who volunteer to help out TB patients in some way or the other, they will be recognized as Nikshay Mitras. They will play a community role in spreading awareness, in giving the right help, the right support for the patients, and through a 3-tier mechanism from the center to state to district health authorities, we plan to eliminate the disease by 2025. It's a very ambitious goal. It's 5 years ahead of the UN target, but the government of India believes it is achievable. There is also a portal which has been set up, the Nikshay online portal, where all the TB cases are being tracked. Every single TB case which is reported in the country is logged into the system. So we have the right statistics in place. So the data would be crucial to manage and contain the spread of the disease as well, and to manage the patients as well. So this is the comprehensive framework which has been created. The Nikshay Mitras will provide nutritional support to the patients. They will help in any additional diagnosis which is needed, because TB patients, their condition can very quickly escalate. It will very quickly turn into serious respiratory conditions, including pneumonia, right? And it could very quickly turn fatal. So they'll need constant healthcare support, diagnosis as well. They'll need vocational and livelihood support as well. So this additional support will be organized by the community, by the Nikshay Mitras. Is that clear? So this is the program that the government of India has brought out to eliminate tuberculosis. So based on this, statement 1 is incorrect. Why? Because the goal is not 2045. The year given, the deadline is wrong. The goal is 2025, which is 5 years before. It is 5 years before the UN SDG target. Under SDG 3.3, the target is 2030, but India plans to achieve this 5 years earlier. So that is why statement 1 is wrong. Statement 2 and 3, both are correct. There is an online Nikshay portal to track all the detected cases or notified cases, and there is community involvement along with leveraging CSR activities. So 2 and 3 are correct. So we need to identify the incorrect statements. Option A becomes the correct answer. 1 only. First statement is incorrect. 56% have got the right answer. Very good. Now let's move on to the 6th question for today. Which of the following initiatives were announced in the 2023 Union Budget to support the growth of agri-tech industry and startups? It might look like a simple question, but the discussion will be in detail here because I plan to cover 3 different schemes. So please check the options given, give the answer first, and then let's discuss this important topic. The topic is related to promotion of agri-tech industry. Just like you have fintech, edtech, etc., we have agri-tech. You have these new startups, new age companies coming up in the agriculture space where they are bringing modern technology, new age technology to promote agricultural productivity, to help the farmers. So to promote this sector, the government of India in the recent budget has announced few important initiatives. So check which of them are listed here and try and give the right answer. Let's end the poll. It's been live for some time. Let's see how many of you have got the right answer. 47% are saying option C, 37% are saying option D. Again, there is slightly a close competition between different options. Let me give you the answer first and then we'll start the discussion. Digital public infrastructure for agriculture. This was announced in this year's budget to support agri-tech industry. PM Kisan Samman Nidhi. It's actually an old scheme. It was launched in 2019. The purpose of the scheme is different. It's not meant to support agri-tech startups. So second one is incorrect. Third one is correct. Agriculture Accelerator Fund. It provides assistance to agri-tech startups and it was announced in this year's budget. So both these schemes are very, very important. Scheme 1 and 3. Even the second one, PM Kisan, is also important. Even though it was launched in 2019, you should know what this scheme is about. So in the discussion, I will cover all the 3 schemes in detail. Please pay attention. There can be a question here. So what is the right answer? 1 and 3. Option C is the correct answer. Getting the answer is quite simple, but let's understand the topic. Let's talk about the big announcements that the government of India made in the 2023 budget with focus on the agriculture sector. Please take a look at some of the big initiatives that were announced for the agriculture sector, and we'll talk about digital public infrastructure for agriculture and the Agriculture Accelerator Fund. So in this year's budget, the Modi government has given a lot of priority for supporting Indian agriculture. For example, agriculture credit has been enhanced to 20 lakh crore rupees. Agri credit is crucial for supporting farmers with sustainable loans, which does not turn into a debt burden. Under the priority sector lending, banks are mandated to provide priority loans in the agri sector for farmers. So the government has enhanced the cap, the limit, and it is looking to disperse 20 lakh crore worth loans to farmers. So that is something that was announced in the budget. It was a big announcement. Next, it establishes the digital public infrastructure. The digital public infrastructure for agriculture. This is a new initiative that was announced, a brand new initiative. So under this initiative, the government of India will be setting up common public infrastructure, essentially the tech infrastructure that is needed to support agri-industry and agri-tech startups. See, technology can play a critical role in agriculture, right from forecasting the weather to providing for smart agriculture, to manage smart farms, right, to control irrigation, to control moisture levels, to control the inputs, fertilizer, pesticide inputs, to come out with high quality seeds, climate resilient, drought resilient seeds. Then to strengthen the back end of the supply chain, to handle the post-harvest challenges, right? Everywhere technology can play a critical role. To reduce wastage, then to increase the shelf life of perishable items, to fetch the right price for the farmers, to link the farmers with the markets. to provide for insurance, crop insurance, right? In every segment of farming, agriculture, technology is already playing a very big role, right? From the seeds to the inputs, to the cultivation, to the sowing activity, to harvest and post-harvest logistics. In every domain of agriculture, technology is already playing a big role. There are several agri-tech companies and innovative startups which have come up. So the government wants to further incentivize and encourage these tech industries. They can transform Indian agriculture. Now see, Israel is a classic example here. The country of Israel is located in the middle of the desert, and yet Israel is a leader in the field of agri-tech. It has managed to overcome the challenges of aridity and water scarcity through technology. It's a leader in water conservation, water management. It's a leader in smart agriculture. It has deployed artificial intelligence and Internet of Things into agriculture farms. It's using drones and satellites to enable farming. It's using water desalination to solve the water problem. So Israel is a classic example of how technology can transform agriculture. So that is exactly what India is also trying to do. And to encourage these agri-tech startups and industries which are very low capital, they'll have limited resources, the government is going to create a common pool infrastructure. The digital public infrastructure will be created, which will be an open source, open standard, interoperable public good. It will be available for all the agri-tech startups. It's a common infrastructure the government is going to set up. It will be open source, so there will be no limitations as far as the platform is concerned. It will be based on open standard and it will be interoperable. So various startups can utilize this public infrastructure the government is creating. It's essentially IT infrastructure, be it cloud storage facilities, cybersecurity tools, research and innovation centers. The government will set up that public infrastructure which the startups can make use of. So for this, a dedicated initiative has been launched, Digital Public Infrastructure for Agriculture. Next, an Agriculture Accelerator Fund has been announced in this year's budget. This is the second big initiative. It's another new initiative of the Government of India. As the name itself indicates, it will provide the required financial support along with technological support to encourage agri-tech startups and the industry. It will encourage rural youth especially to become entrepreneurs, to invest in the agri-tech sector. All right? It will give them financial support, mentorship. It will incubate these startups. So that is why a dedicated accelerator fund is being set up so the government can directly support and back these agri-tech industries. These are very nascent industries. They may not have enough capital and resources. So that is why the government is stepping in with these two landmark initiatives. All right. So both the initiatives are very important for the exam. Other than that, in the union budget, the government announced a sub-scheme under PM Matsya Sampada Yojana to promote fisheries, especially prawn or shrimp cultivation. A lot of subsidies have been announced and reduction of taxes have been announced for the feed which is given to fish and shrimp. This reduces the input cost and it will give a boost for fish production and shrimp production in the country. So it's an important sub-scheme in the fishery sector, a sub-scheme of PM Matsya Sampada Yojana. Next, the government is giving a lot of priority to millets. This is the International Year of Millets being marked by the UN. India is playing a lead role at the global level to promote millets, which are often referred to as nutri-cereals. It's been labeled as Shri Anna, also called Siridhanya, right? Millets, they are known for their nutritional value. They are easy to produce. They thrive in less water conditions, all right? And they have high nutrition value. They don't bring the side effects or the drawbacks of other cereals, be it rice or wheat, etc. For example, you have fox millet, ragi, right? There are various millets which have gained a lot of popularity in India and around the world. In fact, since ancient times, many traditional societies, they have always relied on millets as part of their staple diet. It's only in the modern times that millets went out of fashion. Now governments are working proactively to bring millets back on your food plate. So there is active promotion of millets going on through the government because it brings a lot of nutritional value and serves a huge economic purpose. It can transform the agrarian economy. It can increase the income for our farmers. We can increase our millet exports to other countries. India is one of the top producers and consumer of millet crops. So to pay attention to this, the government has launched a special initiative. Plus there are a few other minor initiatives in the agri sector. But these 3-4 I have discussed, they are very, very important. Please make a note of this for your prelims. Next, the other scheme which was mentioned in the question, PM Kisan or PM Kisan Samman Nidhi Yojana. It was launched back in 2019 by the Modi government. It is a central sector scheme, which means it is 100% funded by the center, and it provides for cash assistance. It provides for direct financial assistance to farmers up to 6,000 rupees. The initial focus was small and marginal farmers who have very limited land holding. See, in India, small marginal farmers are the most vulnerable. They hold very small tracts of land. They practice subsistence agriculture, and they are the ones who face the biggest challenges. They are the ones who face debt burden. They find it difficult to sustain their productivity because of all the challenges. So to support the small and marginal farmers, this financial assistance program was launched as a central sector scheme. This initiative is modeled, it is based on the popular Raita Bandhu scheme of the government of Telangana. The Telangana government was the first to implement such a scheme where direct cash assistance was given, and this scheme won the appreciation of World Bank as well. The World Bank also appreciated the Raita Bandhu scheme of Telangana government. So this scheme was scaled up by the Modi government, it was modeled on it, and it was launched on a nationwide scale in 2019 as a central sector scheme. The idea was to help small marginal farmers by providing around 6,000 rupees in cash incentives in a incremental manner, in a phase-by-phase transfer of money. Of course, it will be a digital transfer directly into the bank accounts of the farmers. Now the scheme has been expanded. The scheme was expanded to cover all eligible land holding farmers and their families. It's no longer limited to small marginal farmers. It was very quickly expanded to all eligible land holding farmers. So the direct financial support which is given brings an additional source of income for the farmers, helps them to tide over the difficult times that they are going to face. Is that clear? If there is poor monsoons, poor rainfall, drought-like conditions or any other disaster, right? Or even if there are economic challenges, sometimes crops may not fetch the right price. So in such adverse conditions, farmers will benefit immensely when such cash support exists for them. Of course, this scheme has faced a lot of criticism as well because it is seen as a populist scheme. Interestingly, the Modi government launched this scheme right before 2019 elections. So it was seen as a populist scheme to please the farmers and to create a vote bank. So there was a lot of criticism regarding that. But nevertheless, the government believes it's an essential program to support the farmers and help them tide over these tough situations. So that is PM Kisan or PM Kisan Samman Nidhi. So now coming back to the question, which of the schemes were launched in this year's budget to support agri-tech industries and startups? It's 1 and 3. Option C is the correct answer. Okay, now let's move to the 7th question. Consider the following with regard to Mission Vatsalya scheme. Another important scheme according to me. It was in the news multiple times in the last 1 year. So let's look at the statements. It is implemented by Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. It is a centrally sponsored scheme with a funding ratio of 60:40 with state governments, where 60% comes from the center, 40% from the state governments. I told you this point yesterday as well. If it's a centrally sponsored scheme, if it is correct, then funding ratio is usually 60:40. Usually. 60% from center, 40% from the states. But few special states like northeastern states, the hilly states like Himachal Pradesh, Sikkim, Uttarakhand, then border states, right? They might get special funding in the ratio of 90:10, where 90% is given by the center, only 10% from the state governments. All right. So funding ratio will vary from scheme to scheme, but this is the usual funding ratio for a centrally sponsored scheme. There are schemes where funding ratio is 50:50, 80:20, but generally it is 60:40 for most of the states. For special states like northeastern states, hilly states and border states, it will be 90:10. All right. But we should check whether it's correct or wrong, whether it's a centrally sponsored scheme or not. Third statement says it helps deliver the mandate of the Juvenile Justice Act of 2015 and helps achieve the SDG goals with regard to child protection and child welfare. I think that much is clear. If you look at the name of the scheme, Mission Vatsalya. Vatsalya refers to motherly care. So it's obviously dealing with child care and child welfare and child protection. That is the focus of the scheme. Now let's see which of the statements are correct by understanding the key provisions and features of this important government scheme. Mission Vatsalya is an initiative of Ministry of Women and Child Development. It's not an initiative of the Social Justice Ministry. All right? It's an important fact. Next, it is indeed a centrally sponsored scheme. It is sponsored by the center and the funding ratio is 60:40, 90:10, depending on the state. So second statement is definitely correct. Now let's learn more about this important scheme. Mission Vatsalya has been very actively promoted by the Women and Child Development Ministry. It actually is based on the erstwhile Child Protection Services Scheme. Previously, we had the Child Protection Services Scheme. See, there are children who might be in conflict with the law. That is, children who might have been accused of committing crimes. Children who are in conflict with the Juvenile Justice Act, who might have been held guilty for their criminal acts. Could be robbery, rapes, or even could be murder. Right? These are children who are in conflict with the law. They are minors. So they are often kept under judicial remand. They have certain degree of protection as they are minors under the Juvenile Justice Act. We also have the Universal Convention. There is a global convention as well that deals with protection of child rights. Even in India, we have a dedicated law to protect child rights. Even to protect children from sexual offenses, we have the POCSO Act. So there are certain policies, laws and global conventions that deal with child protection to ensure that a child comes up in the right, healthy manner possible. You have children who are begging on the streets, children who are trafficked, children who are pushed into prostitution, children who are employed in hazardous industries, right? Children who are adopted, orphans, who might be adopted by other families. So all these children especially, they deserve attention from the government and the society and from the families as well. Their upbringing is of utmost social concern. As I told you, there are global conventions for this. Under the Sustainable Development Goal, there is a target to ensure child protection and child welfare. All right, this includes providing the child with right nutrition, protecting them from abuse, violence and sexual abuse, providing them basic education, which is their basic right, ensuring their healthy upbringing, ensuring their mental and physical development in the right manner possible in a loving and caring environment, right? So this is the approach which is promoted at the global level and as well as within our country. All the laws, policies that we have, right? That is the focus. So all these initiatives, they were under Child Protection Services. Now this has been brought under Mission Vatsalya scheme. It's an umbrella scheme of the government of India that brings all child protection related initiatives under Mission Vatsalya. The focus here is to ensure healthy development of a child, ensuring a happy childhood, ensuring they are protected from traumatic events. If they've already seen trauma in their life, protecting them from that, helping them recover from that to protect their mental health and as well as physical health. Providing a family environment for their upbringing. This is the goal of Mission Vatsalya. This aligns with the goal of Juvenile Justice Act of 2015. It also aligns with Sustainable Development Goals that deal with child rights and child protection and child welfare. So under this mission, the key component includes improving the functioning of statutory bodies such as the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights, giving more statutory powers to such bodies so they can protect the children in the right manner possible, strengthening service delivery, upscaling the institutional care which is provided, right? Children could be adopted by families, they could be with adoption centers, they could be in judicial remand, right? So they deserve the right care from the institution. Also providing community outreach, where community members, activists, civil society can participate to provide them with the required support, with the required love and care and affection, basic education, nutrition, training, etc. Right? So this is the whole focus of Mission Vatsalya scheme. Recently, the Government of India has brought out the guidelines. It was launched recently as well, and the guidelines have been notified by the Ministry of Women and Child Development. That is why the topic was in news repeatedly over the last 1 year. It triggered a lot of debate as well amongst child right activists and experts. There were a lot of columns, editorials written about this. So that is why I feel the topic is very important. So you can expect a question here on these lines. So now, if we come back to the question, I think the answer is quite clear. First statement is wrong. It's not by Social Justice Ministry, it's by the Ministry of Women and Child Development. Second and third statements, they are absolutely correct. The funding ratio is correct. It is a centrally sponsored scheme. It fulfills the mandate of Juvenile Justice Act and SDG goals of the UN. So 2 and 3, option C becomes the correct answer. 39%, only 39% have got the right answer. 34% have said D. Again, see, some of them are getting confused. But it's okay. Don't panic. It's all about clarity. It's all about revision again and again. So now that you're aware, now that we have covered all the key provisions and features, revise the topic. Trust me, you can answer any question that might come. Let's go to the next question. Question number 8. Implementation of Adopt a Heritage Scheme involves which of the following institution or institutions? Does it involve the Ministry of Tourism, Ministry of Culture, Archaeological Survey of India or ASI, or all the above? So that is what you need to check. Since it's a straightforward question, I would let you answer the question. It will be more interactive as well. Let's see how many of you can get this answer. Then I'll discuss Adopt a Heritage Scheme. Let's end the poll. Let's see how many of you get it right. Some are saying D, some are saying C, but majority of them have got it right. 62% have said option D is the right answer, all the above. You're absolutely correct. Adopt a Heritage is implemented by all these 3 institutions. It's an initiative of the Tourism Ministry. It was launched by the Ministry of Tourism, but it involves Ministry of Culture as well, and of course Archaeological Survey of India. As the name itself indicates, it's a scheme to promote the adoption of our heritage sites, promote the adoption of monuments, so that better facilities can be provided, better conservation efforts can be taken up in order to boost tourism, in order to protect the facilities around around the monuments, the heritage monuments. See, India is blessed with a very rich cultural history, right? We have several important historical sites, heritage monuments, especially if you look at the ancient and medieval monuments, which date back to centuries together. Protecting them, conserving them is the task of Archaeological Survey of India, along with the state archaeological departments. Protecting the heritage site is a specialized task. Not everyone can do that. Now, tomorrow a private company can't adopt a monument. Let's say a Hampi or Taj Mahal can't be adopted by a private company. They can't protect and conserve. They lack the skills. It's a specialized professional area. Archaeological survey will always look after the conservation and protection. But the facilities around it. Now, let's say you go to a heritage site. You go as a tourist. You would have noticed that in India, even several top heritage monuments, they don't have basic facilities. You go to Taj Mahal, you go to UNESCO World Heritage Sites in India. They lack basic facilities like toilets, drinking water, even basic cafeterias. Such essential facilities are not available. Ticketing facilities are outdated, right? Many of them don't have any kind of online booking or online reservation. So these are the facilities we are talking about. Places to rest, places to sit, right? Areas where some shade can be provided. Areas where a cafeteria can be set up, where the tourists can refresh themselves. Restrooms, right? Parking facilities, toilets, drinking water, basic healthcare and first aid. This is missing at several heritage monuments of India. This discourages tourists to go to these sites. Tourists will expect these basic facilities. So to provide that, India has launched this program. The program is not meant to give away the heritage site itself to a private company or a NGO. They have no expertise in conserving, protecting age-old monuments. Archaeological Survey of India is the only one which can do that, along with the state archaeological departments. This specialized task is with them. But setting up these basic facilities for tourists, maintaining them, running them, that can be outsourced. It can be given in the form of adoption. So these entities who take it up, it could be a private company, a corporate company, it could be a NGO, or it could be any other organization. They can adopt heritage sites and they will be known as monument mitras. They will be the friends of the monument. So their task will be to set up these basic facilities for tourists. Make it clean, maintain the cleanliness, provide these basic facilities, run them efficiently to encourage more tourism. This is the main intention behind Adopt a Heritage Scheme. It was launched by the Ministry of Tourism in collaboration with the Ministry of Culture and Archaeological Survey of India. Monument Mitras, right? They have to apply. Those who are interested, they have to apply for the scheme. If they are allotted certain monuments, they can maintain and build and run these essential facilities. However, the purpose here is not revenue generation. The purpose here is not to make profits from these facilities. All right? Of course, revenue is needed, but it's for running the facilities. Now, let's say a company has taken over a heritage monument. It has invested in creating all the facilities. Of course, the money which is being generated from the facilities, from the tickets, from the parking tickets, from the cafeteria, that money will be useful to run the facility, to maintain the monument and maintain the cleanliness and the facilities. The motto here is not profits. It's only to generate operating revenue. Now, you might ask, what will the monument mitras get in return? For all the money and effort they are putting in, if they are not making profits, what's the purpose then? They will get the opportunity to promote their brand. They can utilize the space for branding and marketing their company, their product. All right? It's also a part of their corporate social responsibility as well. So they can mix their CSR as well and bring in some additional investments. They can generate revenue to run the facilities, but the motto here is not profits. They will not be involved in conserving the monument itself. That is the task of ASI. But they will run and maintain these facilities to enable tourism. That's why it was launched on World Tourism Day. Is that clear? So this is the important scheme that was launched by the Ministry of Tourism along with Culture Ministry and ASI. So all three are involved in its implementation. Option D becomes the correct answer. Now, why was the topic in news? See, this was actually launched way back in 2017. Now, how come the topic becomes relevant today? The topic becomes relevant because the performance of the scheme has been questioned. Questions have been raised about how these facilities are being maintained and provided. There has also been certain concerns regarding possible damage to heritage sites and monuments by monument mitras. Even though they are not supposed to deal with conservation and protection of the monument itself, there have been concerns raised by experts regarding possible damage that monument mitras might do to these historic facilities. So there were many articles talking about this in Hindu, Indian Express and other newspapers as well. Questions were raised about the performance of the scheme, right? It hasn't really taken off. Few monuments have been adopted, but the industry has not shown much of interest in adopting the other heritage sites. All right, they've taken over the popular ones where there is more tourist footfall because that shows they are more interested in branding. But the other sites which actually deserve attention have not been picked up. So regarding this, a lot of concerns were expressed. So that is why the topic was in news. Is that clear? So even such old topics can be asked if they are trending in the last 1 year. Now let's move on to the next question, question number 9. Atmanirbhar Clean Plant Program, which has been launched recently, aims to establish sewage treatment plants in Tier 2 cities to make India self-reliant in waste management, boost the availability of disease-free quality planting material for high-value horticultural crops, provide clean technologies to the industry to deal with hazardous and polluting substances, or none of the above. Go through the options and try and give the answer. First, let's check the answer and then we'll discuss about Atmanirbhar Clean Plant Program. It's another important topic. It was launched recently under the Union Budget of 2023. That's why the topic is very important. Okay, let's end the poll. Let's see how many of you have got it right. 43% are saying option A. 37% are saying option C. Now, this is quite surprising. Most of you have got it wrong. It's neither option A, it's not C, it's not D. Correct answer is option B. See, the name of the program can be misleading. That's why the options were given, confusing options were given. In such questions, let's say you don't know the answer, let's say you haven't heard about this program. Don't make a blind guess. It shows majority of you have taken a blind guess by linking clean plant program with maybe sewage treatment or clean technologies for industry. That would be a wrong assumption. You'll lose your marks and there would be negative marking. Never ever make a blind guess. If you know something, then you make a calculated guess. That is different. But never make a blind guess. So that is a lesson you draw from this question right now. All right. The correct answer is option B. It provides for disease-free quality planting material, high quality seeds for fruits and vegetables, which are your horticultural crops. This is the focus of the program. It's an agriculture oriented program. Of course, it didn't get much of attention. It wasn't grabbing headlines when the budget was presented, but it was widely reported. If you go in depth in current affairs, if you went through the analysis of the budget, you would have come across this program. So Atmanirbhar Clean Plant Program launched in this year's budget with an outlay of 2,200 crore rupees. It will be implemented for the next 7 years until 2030. In these 7 years, the government will try to provide high quality horticultural seeds. That is the focus. Providing clean plants, providing the best possible input, ensuring that the seeds given, these are disease-free plants with high quality material. It should ensure high productivity. All right, horticultural crops are nothing but fruits, vegetables, flowers, etc. So this is the focus here, to boost horticultural productivity. These are commercial crops, and as a result, they are crucial for farmers' income. All right, they play a critical role in farmers' income. So that is why the government is focusing on this. So under this program, government will try to supply and distribute high yield horticultural crops. These seeds, they will be climate resilient and drought resilient. They will grow and thrive even in less water conditions. They will be able to resist the extreme weather factors, high temperatures, excess rainfall, right? They will have the ability to resist these adverse conditions. And the focus here is to protect the ecosystem through proactive disease control measures. These high quality seeds will be disease resistant with the ability to resist certain viruses and other pests and diseases. All right, so through genetic engineering, these high quality seeds will be produced, and even through other hybrid methods, it will be produced, and the government will encourage the adoption of these clean plant seeds to promote horticultural crop production. Now, who will implement the scheme? National Horticulture Board. Please write down the point, very important. It will be anchored by National Horticulture Board, which will be setting up clean plant centers across the country. These will be research centers coming up with these high quality seeds, and it will ensure global competitiveness for India's horticulture sector. Generally, when you look at India's fruits, vegetables, etc., they are often seen to be of inferior quality compared to the global produce. All right, even though Indian exports, right, even the best material is usually exported out of the country, in general, by and large, the fruits and vegetables produced in the country are seen to be of inferior quality compared to global standards. So this limits our export market as well. So that is why high quality production is being encouraged. This requires an intervention at the very beginning. So that is why the plants have to be clean, meaning you have to provide the best quality seeds, which is climate resilient, drought resilient, and disease resistant. All right, so that is the focus of this initiative. And these clean plant centers, they will maintain a network of nurseries and seed centers around the country. They will create hybrid varieties. They will bring in modern technology to come out with better seeds, and they will distribute them to the farmers. So option B is the correct answer. I hope it's clear. Now let's move on to the 10th question. Right to repair portal has been set up by which institution? Right to repair portal, another important topic that was making news over the last 1 year. Go through the options. I expect all of you to give an answer. All those who are live, try and attempt the answer. Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Central Pollution Control Board, National Green Tribunal. Which institution has set up this portal? Okay, let's end the poll. Let's see how many of you got it right. Let's see the right answer. Most are saying A, some are saying B. 50% have got the right answer. Very good. It's set up by the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution. So let me explain what the right to repair movement is all about. It's actually a global movement. India is also enabling this movement in the country by setting up the right to repair portal. Now this deals with consumer goods, consumer appliances that we all use on a day-to-day basis. Now see, for example, we all purchase mobile phones, right? We purchase various appliances, gadgets, televisions, air conditioners, whatnot. Now the problem is, these gadgets, appliances, goods, they are designed in such a way by the manufacturer, by the original equipment manufacturer, that if you break open the device, if you try to repair the device on your own, it will breach the warranty. Correct? Now let's say you can have basic skills to repair a device. Let's say I bought an air conditioner. I have basic knowledge, I've learned through YouTube or I've picked up the skill on my own. I would like to repair my own device. Now this is a basic right which should be guaranteed to the consumer. Around the world there has been a global movement for this. But most companies, most original equipment manufacturers, what they do is that they essentially link warranty with the right to repair. If you open the device, if you break the device open to repair it on your own, you're going to breach the warranty associated with it. Now what will happen because of this? We will be forced to go to their service center. Correct? You are forced to pay a high price for getting the device and the gadgets repaired if it's not covered under warranty. Now the other problem is, let's say I'm smart enough to understand how the device operates and at least carry out some basic repair. But I need information. I need a manual from the company to show how to disassemble the product, how to make the repair. This is something a company should provide, but they don't. They don't give you the detailed manual. Because without that knowledge, you can't fix the device on your own, even if you have the knowledge, even if you have the skills. This is again deliberate on the part of the companies, the original equipment manufacturer. Because you'll be forced to go to the service center again, the authorized service centers. So all the spare parts you need, you have to buy from them. Service charge, you have to pay for them. So throughout the life cycle of the product, you will keep paying to those companies. Now this practice is seen as violative of consumer rights. So around the world, there has been a movement in Western countries, developed countries as well, in US, UK, European Union. There has been a movement calling for right to repair. That consumers should be given the right to repair if they want to. Now, if I want to repair my own phone or my own television, if I know how to do it, I should be given the manual from the company. The company should tell me how exactly the repairs have to be done, the basic repairs at least. So this is being mandated through government policy today. It has been done in the European Union. Right to repair has been recognized. And India also has done exactly the same. The Ministry of Consumer Affairs has recognized the right to repair and it has set up the right to repair portal. It's an online portal which has been created on the occasion of National Consumer Day. So now, going forward, it is mandatory for all these companies to allow the repairs to be done by third parties or by the consumers themselves. Now see, let's say I have bought a bike or a car. I don't want this to be serviced by the same company. I want to take it to another garage. I want to take it to another service center where I know a very good mechanic. But I will not have that right because if I take it, I might breach the warranty. I'll be forced by the automobile manufacturer to take it to their own service center. I don't want to pay their high prices. I can get it done for a cheaper cost. Right? Now, a mechanic who might do a better job will also need the manual, will need some instructions from the company, how to disassemble, how to make the repairs. So, on the right to repair portal, this information has to be uploaded by the companies. All the companies will have to upload the user manuals, repair instructions, and they should not link the repair of a device with warranty. This is right to repair movement, which has been recognized in India as well. The government policy recognizes this today, and an online portal has been set up where the original equipment manufacturers will have to upload the manuals and the repair instructions. So you can take your devices, your goods and gadgets to third-party service centers, or you can repair it on your own if you can learn the skills. All right? So to look at this issue, the government had set up a committee, the Nidhi Kare Committee. Please make a note, it's going to be important for your prelims. Nidhi Kare Committee dealt with right to repair movement. It recommended to the Department of Consumer Affairs that right to repair should be recognized in India and a legal framework should be created. It recommended the establishment of an online portal. So all these recommendations of Nidhi Karya Committee have been accepted by the Consumer Affairs Ministry, and the Right to Repair portal has been set up. Alright, so that is why the topic is very important. So what's the right answer? Option A, Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution. Next, question number 11. What is the main objective of Pradhan Mantri Adi Adarsh Gram Yojana? Another important government scheme which was in the news. Is it to develop toilets with water facilities in all villages through public-private partnership model? Achieve integrated socio-economic development of selected tribal villages and develop them into model tribal villages? Or inculcate behavioral changes in patriarchal villages to promote gender equality? Or enhance connectivity within densely populated villages through a dedicated rail network? What is the main objective of Pradhan Mantri Adi Adarsh Gram Yojana? Again, straightforward question. Of course, it is factual, right? UPSC will be asking such questions as well. Let's see how many of you can get the right answer. The poll is live already. Just go through the options once, give the right answer, and then we'll discuss about the scheme. Okay, let's end the poll. Some are saying B, C, but very good. Majority of them have got it right again. 82% have said option B is the right answer. This is the correct answer. This scheme deals with the integrated comprehensive development of tribal villages in the country to establish them as model tribal villages. Alright, so let's talk about the scheme itself. Pradhan Mantri Adi Adarsh Gram Yojana. It is launched by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, obviously, and the focus is on 36,000 plus villages in the country which have at least 50% tribal population. It focuses on the tribal villages of the country in the tribal belt, in parts of Western Ghats, for example, in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, in parts of Maharashtra, Gujarat, in parts of central and eastern India, in the forested areas of central and eastern India, right, in parts of Rajasthan, parts of northeast India, right. This is generally where you find several tribal communities which are recognized scheduled tribes. So the focus is on these tribal villages and to provide for integrated socio-economic development across different sectors so that these selected villages can become model tribal villages in the country. Is that clear? So it's a modified version of Special Central Assistance to Tribal Sub-Scheme, which was an older scheme. So this has been modified and renamed as Pradhan Mantri Adi Adarsh Gram Yojana. It seeks to provide for all-round socio-economic development. That is to provide better infrastructure and facilities, for example, providing better connectivity through better village roads or building bridges if required, providing essential facilities like water, electricity, providing school and healthcare facilities, providing livelihood opportunities, skill development opportunities, right? It covers everything. All these sectors are covered. It focuses on improving infrastructure, increasing the coverage of government schemes, and implementing the government schemes more efficiently in these focus villages, and preparing a village level development plan. It actually provides for true decentralization. At the level of the tribal village, local plans will be made involving local officials. The Gram Sabha officials, the Panchayat leaders will be involved in making the plan. And it will take into account the local needs and requirements. Because in every village, the issue might be different. In some villages, there may not be enough water. In some villages, there might be shortage of, let's say, electricity. There might be no schools present, lack of connectivity in some villages. So depending on the local issues, a village development plan will be formulated at the Gram Sabha level, and through the Tribal Affairs Ministry, the district authorities and the Panchayat officials will play a key role in ensuring all-round socio-economic development. State administration will also play a role. So the whole idea here is to set up these tribal villages, around 36,000 plus villages, as model tribal villages. Got it? So the correct answer is option B. So that is the 11th question. Next, question number 12. Green Credit Program. As the name itself indicates, it's related to environment. It's an environment related scheme. Green Credit Program announced in this year's budget is notified under which act? If you are paying attention, you would have noticed that I am giving more priority for the newly launched schemes and schemes which have been in the news, even older schemes which have been reported repeatedly in the newspapers. And we are covering different sectors. We have covered social justice, education, healthcare, infrastructure, then environmental issues. So all different sectors are being covered comprehensively. That's why I told you, trust me, whatever we have covered yesterday and today should be enough. Is that clear? So now, go ahead and try and give the answer. Let's see how many of you can get it right. The poll has already been live, so let's end the poll. Let's see how many of you get the right answer. Is it notified under Biological Diversity Act, Environment Protection Act, National Green Tribunal Act, or Wildlife Protection Act? 66% have said option B. Very good. It's going to be notified under the Environment Protection Act of 1986. This law in itself is a very key legislation. The Environment Protection Act plays a critical role in protecting our environment from damage, especially the damage that industrial activities are causing. Is that clear? Industries cause air pollution, water pollution. There could be industrial accidents and disasters, right? All of this threatens our ecosystem. It threatens our environment and biodiversity. So this important legislation was enacted by the Government of India, by the Parliament in 1986 to protect and preserve our environment and to ensure that the polluter will pay for the damages. It inculcated the polluter pays principle. It prioritized environment protection by penalizing the polluting industries. That is the core essence of this legislation. Now, do you know what triggered the enactment of this law? There was one particular event which led the Government of India and the Indian Parliament to consider such a legislation, and finally this law was enacted. There was one particular event which led to this. So if you know that, please post that in the comments after the session ends. Now, let's talk about the Green Credit Program which was announced in the 2023 budget. Let us see what this program is all about. The government has recently announced this initiative, and the government has said that this will create an incentive. It will create an incentive for the industry to reduce their carbon footprint, to reduce their emissions. Is that clear? For example, let's say there are two industries, Industry A and Industry B. Both are polluting industries, but Industry A might adopt cleaner technologies, renewable technologies. It might reduce the emissions. For the emissions that are being reduced, these companies will be allocated green credits or carbon credits. And this could be traded in the carbon market. It's an incentive method. It's a financial incentive being offered to the industry to invest in green and clean technologies. All right? It pushes the companies, the factories, the industries, along with government industries, even PSUs, local bodies as well, to focus on greener technologies. For all the reduction they make in emissions, they will be awarded with green credits, which could be traded in the carbon market, which is a financial incentive in itself. So this carbon credit scheme is being formalized to the Green Credit Program, which has been notified under the Environment Protection Act. This could further allow us to place caps on some of the most polluting industries. Those who breach the cap, they can be penalized. thereby implementing polluter pays principle. Those who breach the emission cap, they have to mandatorily purchase carbon credit from those who have reduced emissions. So that way, you are creating a system of incentive and disincentive. Those who keep polluting beyond the cap, they will pay the penalty. They have to purchase the carbon credit to offset the excess emissions. But those who are proactively reducing emissions, they'll be rewarded because their carbon credits will be bought by the polluter. All right? So such a mechanism is being brought out, and it's in line with our commitments to the Climate Change Convention. The net zero commitment we have made, right? India has committed to the Climate Change Convention that by 2070, India will become carbon neutral. We'll achieve a net zero economy. All right? It's in line with the Panchamrit that the Modi government has promoted. The 5 goals related to climate action that Prime Minister Modi has personally promoted. It's in line with the life vision of Prime Minister Modi, right? PM Modi has been promoting lifestyle for environment. At the global level, he has been encouraging a more sustainable lifestyle, a lifestyle which focuses on a low carbon approach, a greener approach. So this is what India has been promoting, and it's in line with these objectives. The Green Credit Program is in line with all these objectives. All right? The life mantra was promoted by Prime Minister Modi at the Glasgow Summit of Climate Change Convention at the 26th Conference of Parties that took place in 2021. So Green Credit Program, which has been notified in this year's budget, it's been under the Environment Protection Act. It helps India to venture on this path of reducing emissions and incentivizing our industries to focus on emission reduction. All right? So that is the basic awareness you need about this important scheme, and the right answer is option B. I have given this question so you can understand what kind of questions can come. Questions will not only focus on the features and provisions, it might focus on the legal backing of a particular scheme. What's the legal basis for it? Or certain schemes will have a constitutional basis, right? So you should know the legal and constitutional basis of various government schemes. So such questions can also be asked. Next, question number 13. Consider the following statements. Okay, the poll is already live. Go through the statements, I'll read them as well. Give your answer and then we shall discuss. Marg portal is the national mentorship platform by Startup India. It is a one-stop platform to facilitate mentorship for startups in the country. It has been launched by the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Which of the given statements are correct? Go through the statements carefully and give the answer. I'll give you 5 seconds. Take 5 more seconds and let's see how many of you get it right. Okay, let's end the poll. Let's see how many of you have got the right answer. Some are saying D, A. 65% are saying option D. That is 1, 2 and 3. Very good. This indeed is the correct answer. All the 3 given statements are correct. So let's talk about the Marg portal. This topic again was in the news frequently because the government of India, especially the Department of Industrial Promotion, has been promoting Indian startups, and the Marg portal is a key platform to provide that initial mentorship to the startups which are just starting out. Several entrepreneurs in the country, especially the tech-based startups in the country, they face various challenges with regard to the capital, the technology as well, the resources needed, right? They'll also need the right guidance, the right mentorship. So this is where the government steps in through Startup India initiative. I'm sure you know that Startup India is a flagship program of the Modi government that was launched in the year 2016. So under Startup India, the government has been promoting an ecosystem for startups. It's creating an incubation center for the startups to provide the capital that is necessary, the seed capital, to provide the right market guidance, to help them scale their product as well, right? Even in marketing, and in dealing with all the regulatory issues as well. So that is the focus of Startup India, to provide assistance for the startups in every required sector. So for this, a portal has been set up, the Marg portal, which focuses on providing this mentorship, providing this assistance, this advisory guidelines to the startups in the country. All right. So it is actually a AI enabled platform. When startups register on the platform, they will be monitored by the concerned ministry, by the department, and based on the sector they are operating in, they'll be provided the right technical guidance. They'll be given with regulatory assistance as well to get the licenses done. All the regulatory hurdles have to be passed. They'll be mentored by industry experts. The government will rope in industry experts as well to provide them with the right guidance, right? And it will also enable market access for them. It will create the right ecosystem so they can access the market, build their brand, scale their product, and ensure the product goes live and it becomes a sustainable financial model. So end-to-end assistance is given for startups in the country through the Marg portal under the Startup India initiative. All right. So all the three statements given here are correct. It's one of the important initiatives of Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, which is under the Ministry of Commerce. This topic was repeatedly in news. At least 3 times it was reported in newspapers. It captured the headlines as well, because India already has emerged as a startup hub, right? And the government of India has indeed played a big role in nurturing and incubating the startups. So that makes it very important to know about Startup India and this portal which the government has created to assist the Indian startups. So all 3 given statements are correct. So with this, I bring my discussion to an end. In total, we have covered more than 30 government schemes that were in news since the last 1 year. Trust me, this should be enough, because as I told you yesterday, there are hundreds of government schemes. Of course, you can't sit and read and study everything. Now when prelims is approaching, our focus should be to prioritize. So after a careful analysis of last 12 to 15 months of current affairs, these were the 30 schemes that were in news. They will be the most important, and we have thoroughly covered them, right? Not just through questions, but also through a follow-up discussion, through a detailed discussion where we have covered all the features and provisions of these schemes. So I really hope the sessions were helpful. Do let us know if you found them beneficial. Like the video, right? That is the best sign for us to know that these sessions are helping you. Share them with other aspirants as well so they can benefit. And of course, subscribe to the channel. So that is it from my side. We have 3 more sessions to go. Tomorrow we have a special session on places in news with regard to art and culture. So do join the session live at 7:30 p.m. and I really hope all of you perform well in the upcoming prelims, and I wish all of you the very best. So that is it from my side. Thanks for watching. Good night.